Hey guys, thanks for joining me today for another UX teardown. So today we're kind of just doing a general walkthrough of a site. Lately we've been focusing more on specific parts of website, but I thought it would be good just to kind of do a general overview of a site today. So today we are going to be looking at, let's bring it up here. It is a makeup brand called Axiology. Came across this site doing something else. I thought it would be a good one to look at because just like everything we talk about, UX isn't, it's not going to, what is like good UX is going to be different across every site. And so there are a lot of sites that have some really good UX in some parts and some really bad UX in some parts. It's honestly, it's hard to find a site that's nailing it on all fronts, but so I thought this one would be a good one to look at to kind of convey that. So I don't know if you probably noticed, you really refresh the page. So one of the first things that I noticed when I came on the site the first time is how much movement there was at first. So as soon as I hop on the site here, I have got we've got an announcement bar footer that moves. We've got the scrolling bar here that moves. We have a video here that popped up, and I think that there was also a discount code pop up. So this is one of those things that there's not like a hard and fast rule on in regards to like how much movement is too much movement. Any pop-ups or anything like that with discount codes, things like that, pretty consistently research shows that don't present it in less than 20 seconds. After that, it's worth testing to kind of determine how your audience interacts with it. But if someone's landing on your site and you're just kind of like throwing everything you got at them, that's a really bad user experience because one, it's super overwhelming. Two, they haven't had any time to orient themselves to the site. Three, they're likely to just click out of stuff like instinctively. But four, and for me, this is like the biggest thing when it comes to presenting information to people. You want to serve them important information, but if everything is important, then nothing is important. So if you're like pop-up, intro video, here are all the magazines that talk about us, here's free shipping, none of that takes priority to the user. So while it's all important information, it doesn't come across as important to them because it's all just kind of being thrown in their face at one time. And so this is a way to be really, really methodical about how you present the information and think about, if you have the data, how your users interact with the site. And if you don't have the data, just use kind of some basic human behavior information about like how would you respond to that if you came to a website and you were like, oof, that's a lot of information. So if you don't have the data, just make some basic assumptions here. So all right, so lots of movement. That's not great. Some things are pretty popular, like these scrolling bars here are pretty popular right now. I mean, pros and cons. Visually, there are some people that would say that they look really nice. They present some accessibility issues, so I will give it to them. This one stops when you scroll on it, which is good. So a lot of them will keep moving regardless of user interaction. So anything that has movement should have the ability to be able to be controlled by the user. So good on them. It moves. Whether or not this it presents a lot of information, which is good, but again, this is one of those things where like UX, like research is going to be pretty mixed, so it kind of depends on, how users interact with it. Ultimately, I would say whatever you're going to implement on your website, have a reason for it. So it's pretty easy in e-commerce, especially for fashion brands and jewelry, makeup, all that stuff, to really follow trends. And that's not at all a bad thing, but sometimes people fall into traps of doing stuff just for the sake of doing them or because they saw this other brand that's doing it, when really it doesn't necessarily serve any particular purpose for their brand, and it doesn't really bring any benefit either. So just, when you're thinking about implementations on your website, think about like what makes sense for users and think about your goals. Like, why are you doing this? Why do I have like this, like this scrolling bar with all this? Like, what's my purpose in doing that? So Okay, so let's scroll down here and see. So one of the things that I like how easy their navigation is. So we've only got 3 tabs, some drop downs, about, and a color quiz. So I am a huge fan of really simple navigation and then letting people filter out from there. There's pros and cons to that. Obviously, mega menus right now are pretty popular, and again, mixed research on that depending on your catalog and such, but I think this is very, very easy for people to use. So just 3 options here in the main navigation, and we've got some option here to shop by category, collections of bestsellers, best-selling skincare, best-selling hair care. So they're placing a priority on their bestsellers. So again, that would be, we assume that they have done that for a reason. So when you're going to display certain things on your homepage, just think about the data that you have in mind. Try to make research-backed decisions for your homepage. So if you're wanting to push a specific product, or you really want people to know what your best-selling products are. So best-selling products are a really big thing for them. So I assume that there was a reason that they presented this information. So they have a quiz. Let's actually take a look at that, because I think quizzes are kind of interesting. Quizzes are super popular right now. And sometimes for good reason, depending on your product line. If you have a lot of products that are vary just maybe slightly from one another and people will need more information to choose, quizzes are a really good idea. There are some times that what the things or the layouts of quizzes are not very UX friendly. So let's see. I have to type my name. All right, I'm just going to type my first initial. All right. Okay, so this is one thing that happens. So this is different because this is a check all. Sometimes it's confusing when you haven't had to click the continue button and now you do, but this is reasonable considering this is a check more than one. All right, so here's what I like about this. It gives you an option to enter your email, or you can skip it. So one of the things that's pretty poor UX is when you get to the end of a quiz like this and it requires you to get your to give your email address or phone number or whatever information to get your results. And that's a problem if it hasn't been presented that way from the beginning. So it's one thing if from the very beginning you're going to do a quiz and they're like, hey, we need your email address. Again, I don't think that that's great either, but it's better than getting to the end of something and saying we're not going to give you your results until you give us your information. So this gives you the ability to skip phone number. So it's telling you exactly what they're using it for. So you can enter your phone number to join this club. If you don't want to, you can skip it. Calculating your results. All right, and so it gives you a little bit of information. So these are recommendations that it gives. So pretty easy to use. It said it was less than 1 minute, and it was, and it didn't require you to give them your personal information, which again is always preferable from a UX perspective. You never want to force people into information or giving you their information. All right, so let's click onto a product page from here. So it's going to open in a new tab, which was kind of an interesting. That was kind of an interesting move that it opened in a new tab. Okay, so Earth. So we've got a couple of options here. So let's look at the way that their product page is laid out here. So they have a find my color, which that's interesting. Let's look at what that is. Oh, okay. So this is just the same thing. It helps you. It brings you back to the color quiz. All right. So here is where they give. So they have just a little bit of information up here. Basically the color option. And then they've got more information down here. So I would probably put a little bit of this information up here. I think it's good when product information is broken up. We don't want to overwhelm people with putting too much information here in the description. But right now there's really not any information, and there's some pictures here we could, draw some conclusions to, but like multi-stick bundles, it could be used for everything. It could just be used for eyes, lips. And so again, it kind of depends on like your market, who your demographics are. Some people might know that. I would say I'd probably need to give a little bit more information, because down here we have, okay, perfect for eyes, lips, and cheeks. So we know that it's good for all of them. So yeah, I think I would put probably some of this stuff up here, but the way that this is broken up is good. We've got full ingredients, which is good anytime you're using makeup, skincare, food, anything like that. Ingredients always needs to be here. And then you might also they've got reviews down here with the ability to filter them to some degree. So this one only has 4 and 5 star reviews. So you can't filter below that because it doesn't exist. So fair enough. One of the interesting things that I think that they could do, and we'll check this out. So they have some badges here to indicate some like kind of value-based things about this product. So it's cruelty-free, it's plastic-free, handmade, all this cool stuff. So kind of some sustainability type things. So one of the things that would be really cool, and let's just go to their all products page. So you can filter by brands. One of the things that would be, I think, a really good idea for them, since they have these value-based products, right, is the ability to be able to maybe filter based on value. I think that might be a really cool idea that they're not currently utilizing. Because I think that there are some people that make a commitment to, I'm only going to buy makeup that is, cruelty-free or whatever. So that might be the most important thing for them over even like shade or whether it's a multi-stick or not. So you can already filter by like type of product, and you can filter by brand, but that might be like a cool addition to be able to like filter by values. The other thing I want to make mention of here is that this video here just kind of keeps popping up. So no matter how many times I click out of it, it keeps resurfacing. So my sound is off. My sound is almost never on. So it's a bit of an eyesore for me. It's not too invasive otherwise, but videos that automatically play with sound are not considered good UX, and ideally you're taking the cue from the user. So if somebody lands on this homepage and they click out of the video, it is probably not the best idea to continue to resurface that video on a new page if they've already clicked out of it. So I don't know exactly. It seems like it came up on some of the all products page and the home page, but doesn't come up on everything. So, but in general, if somebody interacts with this, so again, like every time I come back here, it pops up. So if somebody interacts with it in a certain way and clicks out of it, then I wouldn't continue to surface that video. All right, let's go ahead and just add something to the cart so we can kind of see what that looks like. All right, so we're gonna add this. Okay, so, all right. I actually want to clear all this out and do it again because I had some stuff in here already and I'm interested to see like first glance. So we're gonna add this to the cart. Okay, so here's some other cool things that they're doing. So up here, it tells you, it has like a status bar. So they have free shipping on orders over $85. That was one of the announcements in the announcement bar here. So when I add this, it has the status bar. And it tells me how far away I am from free shipping. But the other cool thing that it does is they've got some other promotions going on where if you spend $100, you get a free lip balm. I know that because that's also in the announcement bar. And apparently if you spend enough money, you also get a free makeup bag. I don't necessarily know what the threshold is because I have not seen it quite yet. But let's just say I go ahead and add a bunch of these, and then you can see how when I add enough money, then it shows me that I've gotten free shipping. It automatically adds the lip balm, and then it tells me how far away I am from the makeup bag. So we'll just kind of keep adding these. Okay, so I added that. It automatically adds the free makeup bag. So that's a pretty cool feature, not only to show how close you are to free shipping, but if you have other promotions going on, this is a really great way to display that as well, so people can kind of track how much they have to spend if they want to receive these things. Clear these things out if you don't want them. And then I don't know if they do. Let's add another thing to the cart. So they're not doing any upsells in the cart, and that could be for good reason. I don't know if there's a threshold at some point where it would bring up some stuff. I actually didn't add it. Hold on, let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so apparently there is a threshold that's set. I don't exactly know how they have that set up. When I added just a couple of things to the cart, it actually didn't give me any add-ons, and then I added this other product and it did. So I don't necessarily know the logic they have set up on that. And that's probably, there's some wisdom to that too, especially since at first we were working towards these free items. That would clutter up the cart quite a bit if there was all this information up top here about all the stuff that I could earn plus all this stuff here at the bottom. They have some add-ons here, and again, we talk about this all the time. If you're going to do upsells or add-ons or anything like that in your cart, have a good reason for why you're doing that and what you're offering. I would not advise just recommending like random items, because they tend to be like pretty distracting. So this is a really good chance to like leverage some of your customer data that you have here, or products that are like most commonly purchased together, or products that match, or products that are part of a set. Like this could be a good place to put this. So, okay, let's see. One last thing, we're going to check out the footer again. We're not looking at everything, but so they have an email sign up. Oh, they have a shop Instagram page. I really like shop Instagram pages if they're set up well. So they actually this doesn't surface anything. So I'm not sure if they know that, if maybe the page didn't get finished or it's just not feeding through like it should. Shop Instagram pages can be really cool, provided that when you like show a picture of somebody wearing this shade of lipstick, that it has like either one of the little hotspot things or the ability to be able to like shop that particular product. It doesn't tend to be as effective if you just show somebody and say like, this is the shade of lipstick that they're using, but you don't give them an easy way to get to that product. It doesn't tend to be as effective. But when you can like tag that product within the feed, that can be super effective. People really interact with it well that way. So yeah, that's not working. But they have shop links in the footer, which I think is good. They have about us. They sell in store, so they have information about that. They have shipping and returns information. FAQs, a blog, which is great for SEO. They don't have privacy policy, they don't have terms and conditions, things that would recommend. Let's see if we go to checkout if they pop up. Normally they do. Yeah, they're here. Terms and conditions. So that should always be on the main website too, so unless I'm just missing it, which is really possible. Sometimes those things are easy to overlook. But yeah, so they're definitely doing some cool things on their site worth implementing. But again, this is just a high-level overview looking at pros and cons, different ways to set things up for a site. So maybe you can take some of these ideas if you have a shop that's similar to this, or you've seen something here that would be helpful for your brand. But I thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.